One of the things I'm trying to develop my intuition better on is um, gauging proximity to LOIs and VWAP in terms of close enough, because it doesn't always touch the level, right? And we
Right,
talk
right.
about levels as ranges.
Yep.
So I'd love your thoughts on, and I know this is really subjective and probably depends on the market environment, the day, but just as a general rule of thumb, could you pin a number of points or ticks for ES and NQ on what might be considered a close enough line? Is it maybe 3 or 4 points ish on ES, and NQ I find really difficult because of the just the enhanced volatility.
Right.
But how would you encourage us to think about that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the best way that I have found to go about that is just to know that it opens up your risk. So if we
Yep.
have, like, for example, let's just use kind of an extreme example. Like if I'm trading this right through here and I want to call this a pullback to VWAP.
Yep.
Well, by the definition of the strategy, I need to have my stop way down here.
Right.
Right. And so
Right.
I may
Yeah.
be going for this target, and let's see what that mathematically gives us. It may still be like a 1-to-1 just because we have such wide ranges with FOMC. It's still no, it's a 1.4, and so our multiple. And so, are you willing to eat this many points of risk if you are incorrect on the trade? And that's what it comes down to. Like
Right.
when price is
Right.
is getting close and you start to see some semblance of a signal bar, well, when we're talking about risking VWAP, what does that look like as far as your actual risk? Like what is it, And so if you're looking at an usual stop of, maybe 2 to 3 points is your regular stop or something like that on ES, and then the trade you're considering right now is 5, 6, 7 points. Well,
Mm-hmm.
probably way too wide, right? And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple ways to go about that. Is you can then drop your size. So if
Yeah.
I start to see, like, for example, if I start to see some action up here, we'll say up here, and I'm interested in getting along, and I think I may miss it, or I have some reason to believe it's not actually going to test VWAP, but I still want to risk VWAP because my thought process is, well, if it gets down here, I could add
Right.
to the position. Well, then I'm going to grab, maybe 1/3 size or 1/2 size over here, and then I'll just manage it accordingly with the lighter size. If it actually rolls over and gives me that test down here, I'll add the second piece or the rest of the trade, depending on how I initially entered, and take it from there. And so
Yeah.
it's just important to look at, how much risk you actually have on the table. Generally speaking, with ES, and I've been trading ES a lot recently, but for me, I usually wanted to keep the maximum risk 3 to 5 points, right? And
Yeah.
so I kind of use that as like a baseline gauge, almost like a quick reference guide, because we don't always have time to be checking all the points. And so I'm like kind of eyeballing, all right, am I within 3 to 5 points of that structure, of that risk point? If yes, then okay, the full size is safe here. If not, then either pass on the trade or drop the size a little bit just to give me a little bit of breathing room, and
Right.
not face a loss that is going to be, too large.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I'll go about it. Now, when price is testing levels of interest, it's going to be a little bit different, because you can have scenarios where you'll have the structure build out right here, like this shooting star. And in this case, I'm more comfortable just risking the high of that signal bar, right, rather than the actual level. And so in this scenario, I'll say, all right, well, yeah, this is, to me, it's price clearly rejecting 400. Here's my signal bar. Like, if I want to short, here's the short, right? Risk is going to be up here. And
Yep.
then we're going for either structure or VWAP.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much how I'm always looking at it.